Imagine if one of the most important nutrients for human health wasn't something you swallow, chew, or inject, wasn't a vitamin, wasn't a mineral, wasn't a pill or powder on a crowded supplement shelf. Imagine if it was light. Not the ordinary light that helps you read a page or find your keys, but a particular band of light, specific wavelengths that can slip beneath your skin, travel through muscle and blood, and reach the microscopic machines inside nearly every cell in your body. Machines responsible for generating the energy that underpins every beat of your heart, every thought that sparks across your neurons, every muscle contraction that moves you, every repair process that restores you after stress, injury, or illness, every moment of life itself. Today, we're stepping into one of the most intriguing frontiers in cellular biology and longevity science. We're exploring the relationship between mitochondria and light, and how near-infrared wavelengths might influence cellular energy, recovery, performance, and healthy aging. Welcome to OXYZEN Health Intelligence, Chapter 1, The Energy Crisis Inside Modern Humans. Have you ever noticed how many people, friends, colleagues, athletes, parents describe themselves as perpetually drained? Not simply sleepy, not a lack of willpower, not the predictable tiredness after a long night, but a deeper depletion, foggy thinking, sluggish recovery, low drive, and a profound sense that their batteries never fully recharge. Despite unprecedented advances in medicine, richer diets, and smarter technology, energy has become one of the most sought-after and fragile commodities in human health. Millions wrestle with persistent fatigue that doesn't respond to extra sleep, brain fog that blunts creativity and decision-making, slower recovery after workouts, injuries, or illness, low motivation and reduced resilience in the face of daily stress. There are many contributing factors: poor sleep, sedentary lives, chronic stress, processed diets, environmental toxins, but one cellular structure keeps surfacing in both research and clinical conversations: the mitochondrion. Often summed up as the powerhouse of the cell, that label only scratches the surface. Mitochondria do far more than churn out energy. They orchestrate metabolism, relay intracellular signals, influence inflammation, support tissue repair, shape immune responses, and even play a role in the pace of aging. In many respects, your overall health reflects mitochondrial health. When they thrive, systems hum. When they falter, dysfunction ripples outward. Chapter 2. The ATP economy. Every second of your existence, your body is running an economy, the ATP economy. ATP, adenosine triphosphate, the tiny molecular coin that pays for everything your cells do. This currency powers the electrical storms of the brain that underlie thought, memory, and consciousness. Muscular contractions that let you stand, walk, lift, and sprint. Protein synthesis that builds and repairs tissues. Immune cells that hunt down pathogens. Cellular repair and detoxification processes that maintain tissue integrity. Without ATP, biological processes stall. Death follows quickly. Remarkably, your cells recycle and remake ATP thousands of times every day, an astonishing bioenergetic feat largely driven by mitochondria. That raises a compelling question. If mitochondria are so central, can we improve how well they work? Can we boost cellular energy production in ways that translate into clearer thinking, faster recovery, and more robust health? And if so, how do we do it? Chapter 3. The discovery of photobiomodulation. The story starts with a surprise. Scientists and clinicians observed that certain wavelengths of light seem to provoke biological reactions, not by heating tissue like a magnifying glass, not by causing burns, but by subtly changing cellular activity. This observation gave rise to a field known as photobiomodulation. Photo for light, biomodulation for changing biological behavior. Early work in plants and simple organisms hinted that light carried informational value. As research advanced, red and near-infrared wavelengths stood out because they penetrate deeper into tissue than shorter, bluer wavelengths. These deeper penetrating rays reach muscles, blood vessels, peripheral nerves, and potentially the mitochondria themselves, offering a non-invasive way to influence biology. If cells can respond to light, then light becomes more than illumination. It becomes a signal, a regulator, a form of environmental input that the body can interpret and act upon. Chapter 4: Cytochrome C oxidase. Now let's go inside the mitochondrion. Inside these organelles lies the electron transport chain. an elegant microscopic cascade of protein complexes that functions like a high-efficiency power station. This is where the chemical gradient that produces ATP is established and maintained. One of the key players in this chain is an enzyme called Cytochrome C oxidase, sometimes abbreviated COX. Research suggests that cytochrome C oxidase can absorb certain red and near-infrared wavelengths. When illuminated at those frequencies, its activity may shift, electrons flow more smoothly, the efficiency of the chain may improve, and the mitochondrion can produce ATP more effectively. Put simply, light might act like a fine-tuning signal for the cell's energy machinery. That doesn't mean it's a miracle switch. The biology is complex and context-dependent, but it provides a plausible mechanism for how light could increase cellular energy availability. To stay grounded, the science is still evolving. Not every claim about red light therapy is fully proven, and outcomes vary depending on wavelength, dose, timing, and tissue type. Still, a growing body of controlled studies supports the idea that photobiomodulation can benefit tissue healing, inflammation modulation, and aspects of cellular metabolism. Chapter 5. Light as a biological nutrient. When we think of nutrients, we usually picture food, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids. But evolution tells a broader story. For billions of years, life evolved under a sky that moved with the sun, an environment suffused with visible and invisible wavelengths that shaped physiology at every level. Light has been a constant ecological input shaping rhythms, metabolic set points, hormone release, and behavior. Just as calories and micronutrients feed biochemical processes, specific patterns of light supply information and energetic effects that biology has come to expect. That's why researchers increasingly describe light as an environmental nutrient, not consumed in the gut, but absorbed by tissues and interpreted by molecular machinery. It's a reminder that our biology evolved in a light-filled world and that modern lifestyles, dim interiors, late-night screens, limited morning sun exposure may deprive us of an essential environmental signal. Chapter 6. The morning sun connection. Many people imagine infrared exposure as something that happens in clinics or with specialized lamps. Yet nature's original source, the sun, provides a rich, complex spectrum every day. Morning sunlight, in particular, carries a significant dose of red and near-infrared wavelengths along with the visible spectrum. Sunlight is not just a single dose of energy, it's a tapestry of signals. Blue light that sharpens alertness and entrains circadian clocks, green and amber that contribute to color perception and mood, and red to near-infrared that reach deeper tissues. This may help explain why morning light exposure affects more than just mood. It touches hormone rhythms, metabolic signaling, and possibly the cellular processes involved in repair and recovery. Simple changes. Stepping outside for a short walk in the early sun rather than scrolling on a screen could deliver a suite of biological cues that modern life often overlooks. Chapter 7. Circadian. Rhythms and mitochondria. Light isn't only about intensity or wavelength, it's about timing. Mitochondria aren't constant 24/7 machines. Their activity waxes and wanes across the day, synchronized with the body's circadian system. Energy production, repair pathways, antioxidant defenses, and metabolic flexibility often follow predictable daily patterns tuned to the light-dark cycle. This means that when you get light matters almost as much as how much you get. Morning light helps reset central and peripheral clocks, aligning hormonal release, sleep pressure, and metabolic processes. When these systems are synchronized, sleep quality improves, daytime energy is steadier, and mitochondrial recovery during sleep may be more effective. Conversely, poor light timing, excessive evening blue light or little daytime natural light, can desynchronize clocks, impair sleep, and indirectly undermine mitochondrial function and resilience. Everything is linked in a dynamic, time-sensitive web. Chapter 8. The recovery advantage. One of the most active and promising areas for photobiomodulation research is recovery. Athletes, clinicians treating musculoskeletal injuries, and rehabilitation teams have tested whether targeted red and near-infrared exposure can accelerate muscle recovery, reduce inflammation, improve wound healing, and enhance overall performance. Outcomes vary across studies, influenced by factors such as wavelength, power density, duration, treatment timing relative to exercise, and the specific tissue targeted. Still, the overall trend is encouraging enough that photobiomodulation has earned a place in sports medicine and rehabilitation protocols in some settings. Why might this matter? because energy production lies at the heart of recovery. Faster ATP replenishment, better mitochondrial signaling, and modulated inflammation can translate into quicker return to function, less soreness, and improved adaptation to training. And recovery is central not only to performance but to longevity. The body's ability to repair and bounce back is a key determinant of long-term health. Chapter 9, Mitochondria and Aging. A dominant theory of aging implicates mitochondrial decline. As mitochondria lose efficiency, cells produce less ATP and generate more reactive byproducts. Oxidative stress can rise, repair systems can falter, and tissues gradually lose their resilience. This is not a single-cause explanation. Aging is multifactorial. But mitochondrial health sits at the crossroads of many aging-related processes. That's why interventions that support mitochondrial function have captured the attention of longevity researchers: sleep optimization, regular exercise, balanced nutrition, stress reduction, circadian alignment, and increasingly, thoughtful light exposure. If light can be harnessed to nudge mitochondrial efficiency or improve repair signaling, it could become another tool in a broader strategy to maintain vigor across decades. Chapter 10, the OXYZEN perspective. At OXYZEN Health Intelligence, we focus on the practical intersections of sleep, heart rate variability, recovery, metabolic health, wearables, and longevity. Mitochondria link them all. They underpin the physiology that wearables measure, the recovery that HRV reveals, the sleep that resets performance, and the metabolism that determines long-term health. No recovery without energy, no repair without ATP, no resilience without functional mitochondria. And as the science grows, light emerges as a potentially potent environmental factor shaping these systems, not as a panacea, not as a replacement for good sleep and nutrition, but as one of several tools biology evolved to expect. We approach this with curiosity and caution, promising mechanisms, growing evidence, but also variability and unanswered questions. That's why we emphasize integrative strategies, pairing sleep, movement, nutrition, circadian hygiene, and judicious light exposure, rather than chasing any single fix. Final thoughts. If there is one idea I want you to take away from today's episode, it is this. Light is more than what lets you see the world. It's a constant stream of information and energy that your biology responds to. Your mitochondria are not inert batteries. They are dynamic, responsive engines embedded in a living network that interprets environmental cues. Those engines appear remarkably sensitive to signals like light, timing, and rest, inputs our ancestors encountered daily and that modern life increasingly distorts. The future of longevity may not arrive as a single pill or a single gadget. It may come from relearning how to live in harmony with the natural forces that shaped human biology: sleep, movement, nutrition, stress management, circadian alignment, and yes, light itself. I'm Dr. Yende. Thank you for joining me for another episode of OXYZEN Health Intelligence. Remember, every heartbeat, every thought, every movement depends on cellular energy. Understanding how that energy is produced and maintained may be one of the most important discoveries of our lifetime. I'll see you in the next episode.